Let's take a look at this. Christy Noem holds a briefing on Judge halting the Alligator Alcatraz construction for some reason. We're gonna speed it up because it's gonna take a while. She's not gonna talk for long, I'm guessing. Yeah, like 15 minutes.
That's good. Yeah. Good. Good morning, everybody. I'm Christine Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. And it's been about 7 months now since President Trump and his administration have been working to make America safe again. As you know, the Department of Homeland Security is tasked with making sure that we have a secure border, which we have overwhelmingly been successful with by President Trump's direction, at making sure we're enforcing our laws in this country, that the rule of law matters, and that it applies equally to everybody. We have had for 3 months in a row 0 illegal aliens entering the United States, which is the first time in this nation's history that we've seen that kind of security at our nation's border. Also, we've been working on getting dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens out of our country. Murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, human traffickers, going out, arresting them, and removing them from our communities so that our families can be safe again at night. Our top priorities have been these 2 items: securing our borders and arresting dangerous criminals and removing them from our cities and our towns and our states across the country from coast to coast. Since President Trump has taken office, we have arrested hundreds of thousands of these illegal criminals. I'm here today because the elected leaders in this state of Illinois are ignoring the law. In fact, they're being obstructionists when it comes to getting dangerous criminals off of their streets. They are deciding.
Oh look, Illinois. The people fled to Illinois because they didn't want to go to do stuff in Texas.
That are trafficking children are more important than the families that live in the communities here. That includes Governor Pritzker, Mayor Johnson, and others who have worked so hard to protect these dangerous criminals. They'd rather be a sanctuary state and continue to put those individuals above American citizens who built this country, who've raised their families here for generations, and just want to be able to walk down the street safely at night and put their kids to bed and live a peaceful life. Today I'm highlighting 4 different examples of individuals that we've recently arrested here out of this office with the good work of ICE and our HSI officers that we've taken off the streets without the help of the governor or the mayor. Our federal officers have had to do this alone without their support, and these dangerous individuals are now no longer victimizing people because of the good work that we do. Hector Bonaparte is a 42-year-old illegal Mexican alien who had previously been convicted of predatory sexual criminal assault against a victim under the age of 13.
They keep getting it right.
We have Jarvin Flores.
New
Santos,
individuals keep committing the same offense, and they're illegal aliens.
Criminal sexual abuse and attempted criminal sexual abuse of a minor under the age of 13 again. And Waldemar Jabik, a Polish citizen who had been convicted in 2014 for attempted murder and then also aggravated domestic battery. He was convicted of these after he stabbed his own wife and his 19-year-old daughter. It was not the first time that police have been called to his house
he was
for
Polish too.
What
What
the hell? He was never held accountable until recently by these federal officers. Don Gay Silas, a 33-year-old illegal alien from Micronesia, has had 3 DUI convictions, and as well as convictions of criminal mischief, of wanton endangerment, and driving without a license. These individuals would still be out on the streets
haven't heard
today,
that one.
committing
That's
crimes and attacking people and harming them
Wow.
and hurting our children if Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson had their way, because their choice has been routinely over and over and over again to release these criminals back on the streets.
Where's Micronesia?
The debate over so-called sanctuary policies has real consequences. It has consequences for our law enforcement officers, but also for the families that live here and the businesses that are just trying to provide for their community. Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson are answering that question every single day of who should be our priority, who should be our responsibility, and over again, they're choosing criminals. In just the last 7 months, ICE has issued over 1,664 detainers in Chicago alone. 1,664 detainers we have lodged against violent criminals, and that is a 106% increase over what was issued during the Biden administration. Unfortunately, Chicago and its leadership has only honored 8% of those. That means every other person, when they're released from paying for the consequences of their crimes, back onto our streets without any notification to individuals or to the families that have been victimized by them. By getting those 8% at least off of the street, the brave men and women of ICE are saving American lives. Yesterday we announced that now our ICE officers are facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them. And you read about the stories and hear what's happening from coast to coast every day in our national media and in our press. But it's in large part due to the pro-sanctuary state and cities polities and the language of elected bureaucrats and politicians.
Yeah, I mean, you keep allowing these people to hide in the sanctuary states like they do, and you're never going to be able to fucking stop them. I mean, that's how they've been hiding, right? That's how they've been breaking laws and shit.
That's in front of me on this table. That's enough
because they're trying to use
people.
the fucking
and
sanctuary
this
state laws.
was interdicted just days ago here in Illinois.
As
and
some means as a fucking shield.
Picking up criminals and dangerous individuals, we were able to take this 20 kilograms of fentanyl off the streets and save over 10 million lives. They're also keeping these weapons out of the hands of criminals that would use it to rob and assault and to murder individuals in these communities. Unfortunately, all of the politicians that have spoken out against their efforts, their desire appears to be that they would like to have more of this on their streets. More drugs out there for their kids and families to be victimized. More guns out there committing crimes. That is not the work that we do in ICE. The work that we do is to protect people and make sure that we remove these weapons and drugs off of our streets and hold those criminals accountable who would go forward and continue to use that to harm individuals. I just want to ask you for 3 things today. Number 1, I want to ask you to support your law enforcement officers. Have their backs. Every single individual that's out there.
Yeah, the fact that they're right, the fact that you have politicians or the mayors or governors telling their police departments not to work with ICE agents is fucking insane.
Get some justice for the harms that was
That's
perpetuated in their
wild.
lives. Those of us that appreciate the work of our law enforcement officers, the fact that we're a country that doesn't pick winners and losers. We apply the law, and if we don't like the law, we should be going to Congress to change it. But that is what these law enforcement officers do, is they continue to uphold the law.
Yeah,
and make
they're
sure the laws
literally
that we deliver.
telling you to
Second
break
one,
the
I'd like
law
to
and
ask
to
you stopping
allow
criminals first.
lawlessness.
Stop making them the number 1 priority.
Right? Don't
perpetuating
become
harm on American
Britain,
citizens,
okay?
and they need to
Where
be held
Britain is
accountable for it.
fucking
And number 3, I
lawlessness,
would
okay?
ask that you think about the family members around you, the people you've spent your time with, the American citizens that live next door to you in your community. Start thinking about what kind of a community they want to live in, what your city should look like, what their families deserve, and put them first. Make them the priority because they're the ones who invested in this country, and keep it safe and keep it productive and keep it the best country in the world. We'll never apologize here for protecting the American people, but we're going to continue to arrest dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens. We will defend the homeland. That's what ICE is doing, and I'm so proud to be able to walk with them and to lead with them while they fulfill this mission to really keep United States blessed far into the future. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you may have.
Secretary,
Yes.
You guys have spent about $20 million taxpayer dollars on a campaign to get people to self-deport using the CBP Home app. How many people have actually done that? What's been the return on investment for taxpayers?
Well, actually, the 20 million campaign was to send a message to people that if they were here in this country illegally, that they should go home on their own. If they wait until we arrest them and we have to remove them, they'll never get the chance to come back to the United States. So it wasn't just on the app; it was also encouraging them to
Yeah,
voluntarily go home.
they're
We know
clearly
thousands of people
stating,
have
hey,
used the
if
app, but we also know
you
that
should
hundreds
get
of
the
thousands of
fuck out
people
now,
have
because
left on
if
their
you
own,
don't,
not
we're gonna
utilizing a
fuck you
government
up
program to
harder.
do so. I've been to, I think, 10 different
Yeah, they're
Central
basically giving you a
American and
free
South American
ticket.
countries and visited with their
You
presidents, with their
you
foreign
overstayed your
ministers, interacted
welcome.
with the
You should
Department of
get
State
out
over and
now
over
while
again.
you
I'm
still
hearing that
can.
hundreds of
If you
thousands of
don't,
their
and
citizens
we
are coming
find
home
you,
voluntarily.
you're
They've
getting
seen
real
the ads,
fucked
they've
up, like.
seen, the messages on social media that if they go
They're
home
never
on their own,
coming
they'll get the
back
opportunity
after
to come
that,
back to the United
right?
States the right way. And so most of these countries as well are setting up programs to welcome their individuals home. They have housing loan programs that they're setting up. They're allowing them to have food assistance for several months. Several of the countries I've recently visited with are training individuals and workers to come home because their economy has a need for those individuals. So sending that message has been extremely helpful in making sure that people know that here we're going to enforce our laws and that there's a right way to come to this country. And you're going to be allowed to do that if you voluntarily leave.
Do you have the current comprehensive numbers, specific numbers?
We can get it for you, but each specific country has given it to us along the way. But I would say we believe over 1 million people have gone home on their own.
Since the CBP Home app?
Since we have started this administration, yes. But we've arrested hundreds of thousands that have gone through our system. Yeah.
As of July 27th, you've got the contraband slate here talking about the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens. As of the 27th, this is ICE data analyzed by track, 71% of current ICE detainees have no criminal convictions.
That's not true.
Those that do,
Charges and convictions, over 70% of them have pending charges against them or criminal convictions. The others all have final removal orders, which means they're eligible to go back home.
are for minor crimes. They're not violent crimes. And I'm just wondering, why are so many other people besides the worst of the worst getting swept up in this?
Nobody's getting swept up. We're running targeted enforcement operations across the country and using our case files and our information to know who is a criminal in this country that needs to be removed and who has a final removal order. Nothing's changed. Huh?
What's wrong with that targeting then?
What's wrong with our targeting?
Yeah, why are so many other people who are just here to work and they're following the laws?
Well, they're not following the law if they're here illegally. There's a right way to come to this country. And so,
Yes, they're following criminal laws. You're talking about criminals, sir.
yes, I'm talking about criminals in these situations, absolutely. But we also have every situation where we have those that have final removal orders need to go home because their due process is over and they have their paperwork and they're ready to travel. So that has been the priority since the very beginning. Nothing has changed. And over 70% of these individuals that we have gone out and arrested and removed from the country have had those pending charges and criminal convictions against them. That has always been the goal of the president.
What
Yes.
are policies, specifically about identification and masks for ICE agents? Are they being told they do not have to identify themselves?
ICE is always wearing something that identifies them, who they are, and what operation they're out on. I would say that they wear masks at times to protect their identities from dangerous situations. The leadership teams, we leave that up to them to discern what's necessary in certain situations. And with the rise in violence that we continue to see against these officers, with that 1,000% increase, it's making sure that they are safe while they do this job and that they get home to their families at night too is incredibly important.
So if you're understanding they are identifying themselves.
Yes,
For the cases where they're not wearing identification.
I would like to see that because they have identification. They have gone into situations, and when they have been out looking for these dangerous criminals and have been verbally identifying themselves, and if there is a mask required, it's for their safety because of the situation that they're encountering.
One more question.
Rebecca?
Secretary, so you mentioned that it's been harder to work with officials in Illinois because of the way the government functions, but you're also on a mission to hire thousands more ICE officers and detain folks who are in Illinois. So how are you doing that, hiring people within the state, or people that are willing to work in the state, and where are those folks going?
Yeah. The response has been overwhelming. Part of the big, beautiful bill that President Trump advocated for allocated to us the resources to hire 10,000 new ICE officers. We have had that open for less than a week, and we have over 80,000 applicants for those jobs. So they're from all over the country. Some of them are retired ICE officers that want to come back now that they're going to be allowed to do their jobs, some retired CBP or other federal officers. And then we also have a huge amount of interest of people who just want to have their backs and work alongside them. So what we're doing then is to get them trained up as soon as possible. We'll be training them through our federal academy, but we're also going to stand up some pilot areas of where people can train closer to their homes. If we have a lot of officers that have signed up and have offers from the federal government, we may do a training right here closer to home so they're not away from their families for so long. So that's being worked out as we see where the final offers are coming from.
Do you know how long that training will last? Normally it was about a year, so how would you get those folks?
Yeah, it'll be within weeks because we're going to give them credit for what they already know. If they're former law enforcement, they already have training and certifications that we will honor and look at. They'll still go through testing. They'll still go through drug testing and physical tests and all of that. But we want to make sure that it's an expedited, where we check the box if they have the experience, then it helps us not keep them stalled out in an academy for weeks at a time.
Secretary, I just wanted to ask how ICE operations have been impeded by sanctuary city policies, if they have, and do you feel like you're still on target to reach the amount of arrests that you would like in those sanctuary areas?
Well, the lack of information sharing is hard. I would say anybody who serves in law enforcement would say they're used to partners. They're used to being able to call up a local law enforcement officer, a sheriff, a highway patrol officer, and say, hey, do you have any information on this individual that is a murderer that's been cited in your city? That's not happening in Illinois. And when we're calling on those most dangerous individuals, when they're being released from your prisons, they're not even letting us know, not honoring our detainers. When we lodge a detainer against someone, it's when you let that person out of jail who's been paying the consequences, let us know.
There's been a lot of cases where,
a
bunch of people who have done some deeds to certain families get released and without telling, the families, hey, we released this person.
More federal officers because we believe we need to do that for security reasons. So we have great partnerships across the country, over 800 of them, with state and local law enforcement. In other states, we wish we had that here. We wish we could build those partnerships.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? We're not really, this isn't really a United States if you're fucking doing that type of shit. Doing some criminal activity, yes.
On the other end of age limits, why do you think someone in their 40s or 50s can do this job so age gap?
Oh, I think us opening up the age requirement is wonderful for people to have opportunities that they've always wanted. So many people were forced to retire from law enforcement at a young age because of that arbitrary deadline, and now they'll be able to come back and serve a few more years if they'd like to, provide for their families, and then help on the mission of making America safe again. 18-year-olds can come and sign up and help us with processing and paperwork while they train and they get the experience. They can walk alongside our officers. They will all be as fully trained as any full-time officer before they're put in a situation that might require more of them. So we want everybody to be at the same level of skill set and knowledge when they're out doing an enforcement role out on the job. Anything else?
Yeah, I don't expect you to know the details of every specific case, so I wanted to give you a little context that calls for a broader answer on the question. About 4 months ago, I publicized the arrest of 2 men that be responsible for a mass shooting in Chicago. Your agency named them, and it got a lot of coverage. However, they have still not been charged in that mass shooting. So my question is whether it's people sent to prison in El Salvador or 2 men accused here in Chicago of a mass shooting, is it responsible for ICE to publicly accuse people of violent crimes before they've been charged?
Well, we follow cases and prosecute cases and turn them over for prosecution, just like any other law enforcement agency does. So when we sweep up somebody who's committed an act of violence like that and turn it over, that is public information that is out there. And people need to know who is perpetuating these crimes. And we continue building cases then on who they're affiliated with. Is there further dangers? Our investigators are some of the best in the country that are out there making sure that not only is that person now incarcerated, but who are they affiliated with that could be another danger that we need to continue to look at. So
even if they haven't been officially charged?
I would say we follow the exact same process every federal agency does, every state agency does for law enforcement. So we have not changed our methods or how we handle cases or how we even communicate about them than we have since the very beginning, or how the Biden administration did, or the Obama administration. We do it exactly the same. What I wish is you guys would talk about the victims more. How many people were shot in that mass shooting? How many people were victimized? How are their families doing? You all spend so much time talking about the poor justice for these criminals that are harming individuals.
Yeah, it's like all these people care about the fucking criminals. It's like, dude, you know how many people, like how many criminals have destroyed these people's lives? Like, what the fuck?
And many times you're focusing on the one
That
who
makes
made
no
them a victim.
sense. Always the criminals. Always the criminals. Save the criminals. Dude, fuck out of here. The criminals can get fucked. Deport their asses. Or hang them. I don't give a fuck. Oh, these people need to get fucking hung, to be honest. Jesus Christ. Thank you, South Park. I can't take this serious. And what they want, not the will of the majority. Keep doing your job. We thank you. I don't hear anything about the farmers, restaurant workers, businesses ran by immigrants, and hotel workers. Mothers and fathers torn from their homes and families. Just get rid of the immigrants. I'm getting fat eating their food. God, I can see the face melt now. Oh, this person has seen it. Yeah, the South Park episode. Yeah, the fact that they don't want to release information on the whole Epstein stuff too is like a little grating. It's like, you talk all this stuff right now, but then you don't release certain information on certain criminal rings that you have information on, but you just don't want to tell people for some reason. Anyways, there you have it. Forward breaking news on Christine Noem on her on the judge halting Alligator Alcatraz construction.